Hello and welcome. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. We'll be bringing you the top stories with Nigeria as a centerpiece. So let's begin far away in Brazil, where President Bola Tinubu has expressed convictions that his administration's commitments to positive transformation will fortify Nigeria's position at the forefront of African nations for the pride of the citizenry. The president was addressing Nigerians in Brazil as part of his engagements on the margins of the state's visit to the South American country. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab reports.
President Bola Tinubu is keeping to the tradition, bonding with Nigerians in the diaspora and instilling sense of belonging. Here, representatives of Nigerians in Brazil. They are part of the immediate beneficiaries of a just rejuvenated Nigeria-Brazil relations. Amongst this cross-section are scholars and entrepreneurs making Nigeria proud in Brazil through innovations and volunteerism. And these Brazilians of Nigerian descent are now craving to reunite with their origin.
Ajo de Babile, Ekasafawaka, Kasimafakon, Be Kemibe, Odudua, Be Kemibe.
They equally demonstrated retention of their culture. They have varying issues needing government assistance to ease their stay here. But then they appreciated the president for strengthening bilateral ties with their host presidents and for the reforms preparing a better country for them back home.
The 1 trillion economy, the way we are seeing things, we think it will not even get to 2030 before we achieve this 1 trillion economy.
Now that we're building this relationship with Brazil in different phases, we plead Your Excellency that wherever we need it to be a channel between you and Brazil, we are ready to do that.
Members of the president's team updated the diasporans on various transformative programs and policies of the government, including the agricultural revival program.
And the Brazilian-Nigerian friendship, which Mr. President has in no small way strengthened within the last 2 years, is going to be something that the whole Oba will be very proud of.
In the last 2 years, Mr. President have made a lot of intervention by all the state governors in Nigeria in terms of ensuring that he gave us fertilizer, he gave us a lot of resources, particularly to invest in agriculture.
A lot is happening in the agri sector, and I can assure you that in the next 2 to 3 years, with all that has been initiated under the leadership of Mr. President, we should be moving from food sufficiency to sovereignty.
Students are no longer going out of school simply on account of the inability of their parents or guardians not to pay for their school fees or for their object. I think this is very, very important. This from north to south, from east to west, nobody, you don't need to know anyone.
Nigeria has changed.
President Tinubu is again proud that the reforms embarked upon by his administration are yielding good results. He expresses commitment with courage and foresight to reinforce Nigeria's leading role and status in Africa.
Look at the technological development of this country. Look at
the ability of this nation to achieve food sovereignty. Just imagine, what do they have that we don't have? We have everything. We have the brain, we have the energy, we have the population, the youth. To us, we can manufacture, we can develop, we can design, we can build a nation that works purposefully and prosperously for all of us.
The President calls for the support of Nigerians home and abroad to ensure success and sustainability of the government's reforms. In Brasilia, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
In a related development, President Bola Tinubu and his Brazilian counterpart, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, have directed immediate implementation of the existing bilateral agreement between the two countries on defense cooperation. The two leaders, during their bilateral meeting in Brasilia, emphasized on the importance of the agreement signed in Abuja 2 months ago. Following that, defense ministers of both countries are following up with discussion on the constitution of a technical committee, which will institute the monitoring and evaluation mechanism to achieve the objectives of the collaboration.
Well, majorly is on exchanges, training, visits, some discussions among our universities and our institutions, defense institutions in Nigeria and Brazil, and the training of our own military, as well as discussions on the defense procurement and defense industries. We intend to work together to also develop a robust defense industry in Nigeria, taking the Brazilian example. And we have discussed a lot, and I'm meeting today most of the companies, defense industries here, so that we'll see what kind of joint venture, what kind of technology transfer we will have, so that that part of the agreement can be fulfilled. We also discuss on the joint exercises and the security at the Gulf of Guinea. You know, Brazil has been participating in some of our exercises and provision of security at the Gulf of Guinea. As you are aware, the Gulf of Guinea has been relatively peaceful over the years. So we want to enhance that and continue to work together to make sure that that channel is secured.
Away from Brazil, the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities Youth Leaders Forum, who occupied NNPC Limited Gate in protests, have since dispersed. President Oro Movement, Youth Movement, Oyam Comrade Edet Ayo, told NTA News that after meeting with the leadership of NNPCL, who promised to look into their demands, they decided to go into consultation with their members to suspend the protests. The Youth Forum is accusing Group Chief Executive Officer Bashir Bayo Ojulari and NNPCL of alleged misappropriation of funds and abuse of office. The growth and development of northern Nigeria has advocated improved subnational electricity supply to achieve 30,000 megawatts by 2030 and 100,000 megawatts by 2050. This is coming at the Growth and Development of Northern Nigeria third quarter briefing of 2025. Correspondent Yusuf Jika reports.
The Growth and Development of Northern Nigeria is a regional platform aimed at addressing socio-economic challenges through innovative solutions. At this briefing session, GDNN is concerned about the significant improvement of electricity supply to be championed by state governments to expand on the energy mix, not just with the gas and hydropower plants, but to include solar, wind, biomass, nuclear, and clean coal power plants.
This can be achieved with the recent enactment of the Electricity Act of 2023, which has empowered the states to create their electricity market by setting up state-specific electricity regulatory commissions to guide electricity generation, transmission, and distribution through statewide grids.
The group also resolved on the need for governors of the region to facilitate a single loan facility to ensure completion of AKK gas pipeline Ajakuta Abuja to Kano to reap multiple benefits attached to the project. Other areas highlighted by GDNN include actualization of Queen Amina University in Kaduna, syndicating a single facility to develop the regional railway network, and for the wealthy northern elites to collaborate and decisively deal with the unfortunate plight of stray children roaming the streets. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Now, in its commitments to protect and promote public health through nutritious and wholesome food, the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, and partners have addressed concern about genetically modified organisms, GMOs. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
The world stands at a crossroads where various interpretations for and against the use of modern biotechnology have made sensational headlines, causing scare among consumers.
Products are being produced using both the conventional and modern technologies, but the people are not aware, or the extent of information is not reaching the end users.
This gathering, therefore, is to deepen understanding on biotechnology innovations.
Science and policy must operate in the concert to deliver on that promise.
We believe that by working together, we can transform the way biotechnology is perceived.
The Food and Drugs Services Department and its agencies believe that with a robust regulatory framework in place, it will dispel misconception and misinformation about modern biotechnology and its safety to food security. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, is intensifying campaign on national reorientation in 5 thematic areas. Director General of the NOA, represented by Director of Finance and Accounts in the agency, Sule Haruna, explains the nationwide campaign is designed to ensure that students and other youth key into NELFund scheme and other government policies towards improving education, youth development and job creation nationwide.
The loan is available to all qualified Nigerians who are schooling in public tertiary institutions in Nigeria. The loan is fully digitized, so you can apply from everywhere. Tuition fees are paid directly to the school on behalf of successful applicants. And it is being handled by NEFON. Over 600,000 students have benefited.
The National Orientation Agency also wants to ensure that Nigerians imbibe the culture of security consciousness, national values, and get the correct and required information regarding disaster preparedness, especially on flood mitigation alerts by NIMET and other agencies, which are other areas of national reorientation campaign.
Have often resulted in floods in various states of the Federation. We have seen devastating floods recently in several states like Kogi, Rivers, Anambra, Bayelsa, and many other states.
NOA aims to discourage the attitude of unnecessary spendings during students' graduation ceremonies and other irrelevant activities going on in schools, which is part of the reason for the campaign. Other areas requiring attention include the need for citizens to understand the values attached to the national identities and symbols in order to accord them the required respects. Cybersecurity experts are aggregating views to strengthen the digital ecosystem in Nigeria by formulating policies and instruments of regulation. This is a pathway to stay ahead of emerging threats and optimize outcomes. In a bold move to fortify Nigeria's digital economy, cybersecurity experts, telecom leaders, service providers and regulators have come together for the second Cybersecurity Stakeholders Engagement Forum, with Nigeria's digital ecosystem projected to hit $1 trillion. Nigerian Communications Commission Executive Vice Chairman Aminu Maida, represented by the Executive Commissioner of Technical Services, led the forum to spotlight the urgent need to shift from reactive defense to proactive protection.
Our life has revolved around online activities. Whatever we are doing today, we also need to enlighten you to let you know these are things you do that will expose you.
Stakeholders agree it's time to build smarter policies, boost public awareness, and strengthen national cyber resilience.
There are control systems that are electronic driven. And majority of these are in the hands of these service providers. That's why they have that additional responsibility to make sure that you and I are safe.
Nigeria is stepping up, not just to stay connected, but to stay protected. In Abuja, let's also tell you that Nigerian youth are championing a peace-building initiative to address violent extremism. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the initiative will complement the non-kinetic efforts of the Nigerian military to combat violent extremism through the power of digital innovation and creative expression.
This platform is unveiled during a high-level youth engagement event, which serves as a dedicated space for young people to exchange ideas, co-create solutions, and also lead impactful initiatives that seeks to prevent and also counter violent extremism at the grassroots and also at the national level.
This move is expected to empower and mobilize young voices across Nigeria to take active roles in promoting peace, resilience, and positive narratives. It is also expected to serve as a hub for young persons to exchange ideas, co-create solutions, and lead impactful initiatives to counter violent extremism at the grassroots and national levels. This is Nationwide. We'll go for some messages. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. Time now to go over to our Benin Network Center and Uduak. We'll take it up from here.
To Benin. The House of Representatives is to carry out a comprehensive investigation on the budget, incomes and expenditures of the University of Benin Teaching Hospital between 2023 and 2024. The Chairman House Committee on Public Health Institutions, Patrick Kumo, stated this during the committee's oversight visit to the hospital. Jude Abugu tells us more.
The visit to the hospital is part of the committee's oversight functions of ensuring that public health institutions in the country serve the interests of Nigerians. The Chairman, House Committee on Public Health Institutions, a member representing Ikota Ekpene, Esia Udim Abot Akara Federal Constituency, Patrick Umo, pointed out discrepancies in the hospital's financial records pertaining to personnel, electricity, drug sales, revolving funds, and sundry.
We sit over the documents, we will evaluate them, and do all that we can where necessary. But we have highlighted that we will conduct an audit, energy audit, personnel audit, and the drug revolving fund audit on this hospital. We have our suspicions, and of course, we don't operate at the realm of suspicion until we have looked at all the books and conducted a proper evaluation or assessment on what we have or what has been presented to us.
The committee's report will be submitted to the National Assembly for further actions and deliberations. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Nigeria's biodiversity over the years has been threatened due to several human activities. Now, there is a nationwide advocacy, especially in some focal states, to enhance the conservation, sustainable use and restoration of lowland forest mosaic landscape in order to protect globally significant biodiversity and to strengthen livelihood in local communities. Eugenian Dubusi, who was at the workshop, tells us more.
In order to achieve the restoration of biodiversity, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations is in collaboration with the Global Environment Facility Circle 7 Biodiversity Project and National Park Services. It has adopted Ogun, Edo, Delta, and Ondo as its focal states, with priority landscape in Okomo and Gelegele Forest in Edo and Omo in Ogun State for its bio activities.
We want to reduce forest pressure on the forest area and at the same time improve the livelihood of the communities. Like I said, the project has about 4 components, and each of the components are designed in such a way that we want to integrate land planning management, we want to carry out restoration of some of the degraded forest area.
The National Project Coordinator, Lawrence Osaze, urged all the key stakeholders to commit themselves fully to ensure the project succeeds, while stakeholders delivered goodwill messages.
The GEF have provided a fund to enable us restore this lost biodiversity, and we hope that as we've kick-started it, the communities will key into it.
We have to support it with all our strength and what we can provide as a state.
The knowledge we have about it, we believe to join them and make sure the project succeeded. If they carry us along, we will be happy and in full support of it.
The project is expected to be implemented in 4 key components, such as implementation of biodiversity conservation and restoration in priority landscape, monitoring and education. In Benin, Eugenia Ndibisi, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. It's back to Abuja for more on Nationwide. Ayodeji, over to you.
Thanks so much, Udwak. Well, let's go over to, let's tell you that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, is attending the 27th Interpol African Regional Conference in South Africa. The conference brings together police chiefs and, security from over 50 countries to discuss transnational crime and security challenges. IGP Egbetokun will deliver an address on cattle thefts and its link to terrorism and cyber threats. He will also hold bilateral meetings with Interpol leaders to strengthen partnerships and cooperation. The Edo State government is not relenting in its efforts to sanitize the state of cultism and cult-related crimes. The Special Anti-Cultism and Anti-Kidnapping Squad set up by the state government has since hit the ground running to make the state unfit for cultists and kidnappers. Jude Abugu is on the streets out there in Benin to give us the situation report about the fight and onslaught against crime and criminality. Jude, shed more light on the people's reaction in Edo State and government's war against cultism and kidnappings.
You know, over the years, Edo State has always been known as one of the hotbeds for cultism in the country. And that is the narrative the current administration is trying to change. When Governor Monday Okpebolo enacted the new cultism and related activities prohibition law in January this year, the law has so far empowered the special squad he constituted to crack down on cultists and court members across the 18 local government areas of the state. The operations of this special squad so far and the progress they have made so far has bring us some level of confidence on citizens who now believe that government can actually win the war against cultism. But they believe that there are still more to be done when governments and all the citizens join their hands together to tackle this menace that has bedeviled the state for long.
expecting to know what is the support that we are having from citizens in the state to also ensure, most times, like we love to say, government alone cannot do it.
All right. You know, the citizens, they are happy with the development. They have been commending the special squad. They have been commending the state government. But they are also bringing up ideas on how the government can do more to effectively win this war. For instance, some of them believe that the community-based policing system should be further strengthened so that community-based intelligence gathering will help in identifying these people that are carrying out nefarious court activities in the country. Some residents also believe that granting a kind of amnesty to some of these court members who want to turn a new leaf will also go a long way in minimizing and reducing courtism in this state. So they are also suggesting that government should give a window of opportunity to courtists to come and denounce their membership of any court group and make themselves available for the growth and development of the state by engaging themselves meaningfully in things that help to uplift human development.
Jude Abugu out there in Benin, thanks so much for the contribution on efforts by Edo State government to combat cultism and kidnappings. We appreciate you for your time. Away from Benin, the atmosphere of higher institutions in Bauchi State has been disrupted by a surge in theft-related incidents, a situation that has led the management of one of the institutions involved to shut down academic activities. Bulak Afsa has a situation report on the two incidents and the protection measures put in place by the relevant authorities.
Students of the Federal Polytechnic in Bauchi taken to the streets demanding action from authorities to address the rising wave of criminal attacks on their campus, which was later followed by the stabbing to death of a student of the Abubakar Tatari Ali Polytechnic living in an off-campus residence, a situation that has left the academic community in shock.
They now come with cutlass and guns to attack us.
It's only one security. The security that I know is only one security.
They are just demonstrating their grievances to the management and the government.
In response, Rector of the Federal Polytechnic Bauchi, Sani Usman, announced the formation of a committee to investigate the incident, while the Bauchi State Police Commissioner assured the public that his command is committed to addressing this pressing issue and restoring safety to the polytechnics.
Going to meet with all the leaderships of our adjoining villages and the security agencies as a group so that we discuss measures that we have taken.
Reaffirms our shared commitment to safeguarding the lives and property of the residents of Bauchi State.
However, the situation at the Federal Polytechnic took a turn for the worse as the demonstration turned violent, prompting the school's management to shut down the institution temporarily, but now reopened in Bauchi. Bulak Afsa, NTA News.
Some rather disturbing times out there in Bauchi with some ray of optimism. But let's join Bulak Afsa to tell us more on possible security measures put in place by the relevant authorities.
Thank you. For the past few weeks now, higher institutions in Bauchi metropolis have suffered loss of their property and even life due to activities of hoodlums. But with me today to discuss on this issue is
Abdullahi Elwa, a lecturer with the Department of Crime Management.
Could you analyze the issue that we have at hand?
So, what happened to the students in the hostel where they were attacked by men of the underworld and their belongings cut away is very disheartening. And we must use this opportunity to remind the student that personal security is the responsibility of every individual, and it is the aggregation of the personal security that translates into a positive national security. Therefore, we must know the do and don'ts of security, and this implies when to go out, with whom to go out, where to go out, when to keep our belongings, where to keep, and how to cooperate with one another and report in case of any incidents appropriately and timely, so that actions will be taken. And we must call on the authorities of the Federal Polytechnic to strengthen their internal security system. We don't expect the Nigerian police or any other security agency to mount security surveillance 24 hours of 7 days in the campuses, because it's not in tandem with our laws. So the institutions must guard themselves, and the students must work together, form voluntary security outfits.
In Bauchi, Bulak Afsa, NTA News.
Let's move on from Bauchi and equally tell you that the federal government of Nigeria and the People's Republic of China have signed an exchange of notes for a $1 million aid package to support flood relief efforts in parts of the country. Speaking on behalf of the federal government, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, expressed gratitude to the Chinese government for what he described as a timely act of friendship, emphasizing that the funds will complement ongoing efforts to provide relief materials and rebuild affected areas. He assured that the ministry, in collaboration with relevant agencies, will ensure the transparent and efficient implementation of the relief project, just as a joint monitoring and evaluation framework with the Chinese embassy has also been established to guarantee accountability and maximize impact.
Not only a demonstration of China's goodwill, but also a witness to the growing cooperation between our two nations in areas such as trade, infrastructure, technology, agriculture, and now disaster relief. We believe that today's signing ceremony will open a new avenues for cooperation, for collaboration that will strengthen our strategic partnership for the mutual benefit of our people.
Chinese President Xi Jinping announced in his congratulatory letter to the ministerial meeting of the following up to the implementation of the FOCAC, Forum for China-Africa Cooperation. He announced that China is going to provide zero tariff treatment for 100% of tariff lines to all the products from African countries that have these diplomatic relations with China. That, of course, includes Nigeria.
The $1 million assistance is targeted at providing relief materials and rebuilding livelihoods in states hardest hit by recent flooding across the country. Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Zubaida Umar, says the 2025 flood mitigation and management efforts will involve significant deployment of resources for effective management of the situation. The NEMA boss stated this at a simulation exercise in Abiama community of Ahoda West local government area of Rivers State. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu tells us more.
The simulation exercise drew participants from states bordering rivers who participated actively in the exercise to know how to contend with any form of emerging flood threats in their communities. The air ambulance displayed during the simulation exercise was central, with obvious assurance of quick medical attention in the aftermath of flooding. The national emergency committees are activated to salvage the situation.
A crisis zone, prone area, flood-wise, are attended to like this. I think we'll have problem in this nation.
It's a wonderful experience. I have not witnessed it like this before.
NEMA's boss, who was represented by the Director of Planning, Research and Forecasting, Dr. Onimude Abdullahi Bandele, commended participants for the commitment and promised to leave no stone unturned to minimize casualty figures.
The essence of this simulation exercise is not only to test our plans and protocols, but also to expose any gap and strengthen our multi-agency collaboration. Disasters respect no boundaries, so our response must accordingly be collective.
The NEMA team also paid a courtesy visit to the River State Administrator, Vice Admiral Abbott Ete Ekwe Airbus in Government House, Port Harcourt. From Imbiama community in Ahoda West local government area of Rivers State, Ilyasu Aliakubu, NTA News.
And from Port Harcourt and Rivers State together, we go over to our Ibadan Network Center. And Lanre has another set of reports for us.
Good to see you at your DG and welcome to Ibadan. In a bid to alleviate poverty among women and to provide a soft landing for them, about 500 women drawn from the 33 local government areas of Oyo State have benefited from the Renewed Hope Initiative RHI Empowerment Program by Nigeria's First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Ayomiku Ajibola reports.
First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated that the empowerment program reflects the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we prioritize inclusivity, economic growth, and sustainable development.
Let these items serve as a foundation for creating a better life for yourselves and your families.
As part of the program, beneficiaries were empowered with deep chest freezers, Massey gas cookers and oven, generators, and industrial grinding machines. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs described the initiative as a bold and strategic step towards empowering women across the country.
This investment reflects our firm belief that when a woman is empowered, a home is built, a community is strengthened.
Beneficiaries appreciated the First Lady for her unwavering commitment to improving the lives of Nigerian women through the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, and its various empowerment programs.
I want to commend the wife of the president for making people to laugh, to smile, because this will go a long way in our lives.
We appreciate them. Help us to strengthen ourselves.
They were, however, advised to make judicious use of the items and not to sell them. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Welfare and development of members is pivotal to achieving success in any organization. National President, Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union, Ratau, Emeka Kalu, stated this during his visit to Ibadan, Oyo State capital. Lukman Hassan has the details.
His first port of call was NTA Ibadan as a historical institution that has contributed to set the pace in public broadcasting since its establishment as Africa's first television station. Ratau National President emphasized the need for improved condition of service, capacity development, and stronger collaboration with management of media houses.
We plead with the employer to ensure that every worker deserves his pay. A well remunerated workforce ensures enhanced productivity.
Zonal Director NTA Ibadan Network Center commended the union for its sustained advocacy for media professionals and pledged the station's support in advancing the interests of workers.
Anytime, any day, I'm open to discussions that centers around the motivation of Ratau members.
Similarly, during another program in Ibadan with media owners and unionists who added their voices, explained that it is time for adopting digitization in media houses to compete favorable in the international community.
Leadership is key in whatever form, even in your home. If you don't manage your home very well, if you don't provide the right leadership, you will not be able to manage your children, you will not be able to manage your wife, you will not be able to manage your family.
I want the members as well to please continue to cooperate with them. Therein, we're going to enjoy the benefits of working together.
The Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union, on its part, pledged to always contribute towards the progress and development of the society. In Ibadan, Lukman Hassan, NTA News.
And those are the trending reports from Ibadan. This hour nationwide continues with Ayodeji in our Abuja studio after this break. Stay with us.
You're welcome back. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, has extended his heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Abubakar Dansoho, the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, on his election as the Vice President of the International Association for Ports and Harbors. In a statement by his special advisor on media and communications, Dr. Bolaji Akinola Oyetola described the election as a testament to Dr. Danso's outstanding leadership and a global recognition of his Nigeria's growing influence in maritime affairs. The minister expressed confidence that Dr. Danso's wealth of experience will enable him to make impactful contributions to the IAPH and, in doing so, further elevate Nigeria's voice in global maritime policy, the debates, and foster deeper international collaboration. The International Association for Ports and Harbors, IAPH, is a respected global organization that serves as a consultative body to the International Maritime Organization, IMO, and other UN agencies, uniting over 300 ports and port-related businesses from 90 countries. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, is urging farmers in Ogun State to embrace the use of Agric Connect platform for best crop management practices, direct connections to markets, increased income, and other benefits. This was at a sensitization campaign on the mid-term reports of President Bola Tinubu's administration, organized by the Federal Ministry of Information for farmers at the Ajegunle Farm Settlement in Mile 6 area of Abeokuta, Ogun State. Yemi Dalimo completes the reports.
Represented by the head of Federal Ministry of Information, Abeokuta Center, Abiodun Olufemi, the minister says AgriConnect digital platform bridges the gap between farmers and essential resources, information, and markets to make farming more efficient, profitable, and sustainable.
Imagine knowing exactly when to plant your crops based on accurate weather forecasts. Think about having immediate access to solutions.
Benefiting farmers at the cluster lauded the various initiatives of President Bola Tinubu in various sectors of the economy, particularly in agriculture.
It's highly advantageous because it leverages our profits.
With the Connect system, one will be able to know the right time to embark on a certain planting season.
What I just encourage them to do is to keep upgrading.
The officials of the Ministry of Information later sensitized the residents of Ajegunle Mile 6 community on federal government interventions such as student loan funds, among others. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo, NTA News.
The governing All Progressives Congress says the party's massive wins during the recently conducted by-elections in 16 constituencies in 12 states were evidence of the government's genuine drive to put the nation on the right trajectory. The National Organizing Secretary of the party, Suleiman Muhammad Argungu, was speaking during a post-mortem assessment of the outcome of the exercise at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
Since the outcome of the August 16, 2025 legislative by-election, where the governing All Progressives Congress won majority of the seats, opposition parties have been alleging manipulations of the process, and to put records straight, the party says its victories were based on the delivery of good governance.
We have won Adamawa State, specifically a Ghanaian constituency for the House of Assembly. In Edo, we won the Obia Federal Constituency for the House of Representatives. The only one that we lost are 3-1 in the senatorial district constituency in Anambra State.
The National Organizing Secretary of the party, Suleiman Mohammed Argungu, says the internal democracy in APC was a clear manifestation of the party's successful outings, even in opposition-controlled states, and pledges to deepen grassroots politics and administration.
They demonstrate the strength, resilience, and growing acceptance of our great party nationwide. They reflect the belief of the Nigerian people on our capacity to deliver purposeful leadership and good governance.
Argungu appreciates President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for making the NWC job easier and affirms transparency, credible and fair play in all future off-cycle elections, especially the Ekiti governorship primary scheduled for October 27, 2025. Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Now, beyond individual cases, the legal community must serve as advocates of systemic reform, engaging with government and civil society to strengthen workplace safety and employee protection. This was the charge from the federal government agency, that's the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, at the ongoing 65th Nigerian Bar Association Annual General Conference in Enugu. Chimaroke Ugu has the details.
One of the existential issues that hinder Nigeria's march towards greatness is the safety of workplaces and the social protection for workers. The Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, providing social security and insurance services to Nigerian workers, is taking advantage of the ongoing NBA conference to engage lawyers on best ways to ensure the protection of every Nigerian worker in their workplaces. According to the chief executive, the enactment of the Employees Compensation Act of 2010, which aligns Nigeria with international best practices, applies to all employers and employees across both the public and private sector to create a unified national standard.
We've solicited for the support of lawyers generally in undertaking advocacy for much more compliance with the law, because we know how important or how the voices of lawyers are heard across board.
He employed the Nigerian Bar Association to remain vanguards of compliance and justice, using their knowledge to protect the vulnerable so as to build a nation where every citizen can stand out in excellence. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
And from Enugu, we'll go to Duse, where Governor Umar Namadi has signed an executive order establishing the Ministry of Livestock Development and equally assented to the Jigawa Agricultural Transformation Service Law 2025. These, the governor says, will further harness potentials and strengthen the state's agricultural transformation agenda for stronger economy and food security. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
Establishment of the Ministry of Livestock Development, Umar Namadi says, is a strategic move towards unlocking Jigawa's enormous potential in the livestock sector, while the Jigawa Agricultural Transformation Service Agency will serve as a specialized driver for the state's agricultural industrialization agenda. Governor Umar Namadi explained that the new agency was conceived out of the administration's determination to transform Jigawa's agricultural assets into wealth-creating ventures. According to him, Jigawa Agricultural Transformation Service will coordinate all agricultural transformation activities, providing a model for other states in northern Nigeria and across the country.
As we have one of the largest African livestock market in Africa, and also our activities in the livestock sector, I think the establishment of Ministry of Livestock is a welcome development.
The governor stressed that these initiatives form parts of his broader vision to move Jigawa agriculture beyond subsistence into a modern industrialized sector that creates jobs, guarantees food security, and strengthens the state's economy. Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And that is Nationwide. I'd like to thank you for your time. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. On behalf of the production crew, enjoy the rest of our broadcast. From all of us here in Abuja, good evening.